All right, everyone, welcome back once again to this Beefcast presentation in association with mouzCCHasuObs TV. Getting back into this WCS Europe round of 32 between these two players. Game number 2 here on Entombed Valley. Brandon, do you think our Protoss players can be able to pull it back?
He definitely could. Like we said, CCHasuObs is a good player. This isn't his best matchup as far as I know. I think his best is PvT, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. It is a little bit of positional favor for Hasu.
Yeah, I would agree.
So we'll see. But let's get the introductions going in the top right-hand corner of Entombed Valley. The Blue Zerg up 1-0 in this series. Will he be able to close it out? And it looks like he's going for something shifty. Anyway, he is EG.Stephano.
Yeah, it definitely looks like an 11. No. What the
he was
Okay, anyway,
doing something
his opponent
weird.
in the bottom right, playing the red Protoss. Like I said, teammate of mouzMana, one of my favorite Protosses. He's mouzCCHasuObs.
Yeah, I saw that from Stephano, and I think he made a mistake there. That was definitely weird looking. But now he is back on track for a 14 pool, actually. So 14 instead of 15.
Definitely should go Forge next.
Yeah.
First 14 pool.
Okay. So we'll see if Hasu is going to do that. Stephano has not scouted his opponent yet, though with that probe getting there that early, I suspect that he will suspect that he's in close positions, and when that Overlord does in fact scout that he's not in the top left, he will know that he's in the bottom right.
I don't even think you can spawn in horizontal positions on this map anymore, unless this is just an older version of the map. I don't know if it had been changed.
I think that you're correct, actually.
Yeah, I think vertical is the closest, because horizontal is completely imbalanced, and Protoss wins every game if they do that Immortal all-in.
Actually, I know you can in ladder.
Yeah, and ladder, but ladder's
ridiculous.
Epitome of awful maps.
Yeah. Yeah, ladder's ridiculous. We do see the Forge first coming down here instead of Nexus first. Once again, Hasu being the safe player that he is. 2 Zerglings on the way for Stephano, so not looking to punish any greed of his opponent. Just going to get those on the map to drive that pesky probe on out of there and be able to take a little bit of map control while his hatchery does complete.
Yeah, I think Hasu has misplaced his cannon. I don't know why it's there. It's not going to cover his pylon. So if Stephano was, or yes, okay, let me try that again. If Stephano was trying like an early Ling attack, like a lot of Lings, and just like finishes the hatch and then only makes speedlings, he might die. That's not what's happening, but you know, just if that were to happen, it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a strange wall here. The Cybercore is going to be coming down here momentarily to finish that wall off, but like you said, yeah, that far right cannon looks like it's out of range of that, excuse me, the far right pylon, so,
yeah.
Interesting indeed.
Oh, Hasu might lose his probe here. Will it get away? In the top left third, yeah.
Yeah.
Ling has just seen it, so either he's going to get it to the third and check it out, which I think might happen because there aren't any other Zerglings, or, no, it's going to die. That sucks. You definitely want to know if your opponent's taking his third. At this point, Hasu could be like, well, I have to throw down another cannon now because Stephano could just roach all in, and he wins the game if there isn't 2 cannons. So either he takes a risk or he throws down another cannon.
Yeah, and he might use that first Zealot right now to try to just make his way right on over there. And unless there's about 2 more sets of Lings produced, that Zealot will make its way into that third, although the Queen is already making its way over there as well, and if that Queen gets spotted by herself, that Zealot could very well take out the Queen.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know this until I randomly tried it once. Zealot apparently kills a Queen on its own. I didn't know this.
Oh, Hasu.
Like, Zealot.
With a little bit of,
sorry.
Yeah, with a little bit of indecision there. He sees the Queen, so he can guess that the third is there, but no confirmation for the time being. You saw that Zealot turn back and forth about 3 different times.
Yeah.
And so we do see this photon cannon over here now working on the destructible rocks. So that could be the reason that Hasu decided to place the photon cannon there. Getting a little bit greedy, wants to get those rocks down nice and early so that he can take an extremely early 6-minute 45-second third. Gonna pop down some gateways to block off that third. And he could be able to take a pretty serious eco lead if he isn't punished for this.
Yeah, for sure. If Protoss gets to third base this easily and they can end up defending it, they get this wall off at the second ramp and a cannon behind it, because at that point, no amount of roaches will break you. The Protoss can just get way ahead. Taking the fourth on this map is kind of weird, just because the closest fourth is that like really open one in between the two horizontal bases, and if you don't want to take that base and you want to take one that's easier to defend, it's farther away. So it's kind of odd for the fourth base on this map. So I definitely think that Hasu is going to have a little bit of an advantage here.
I could certainly see that. And so with Hasu getting that third down right there, Stephano did not scout that third. He did make his way into the main and see a lack of gateways in the main. So we'll see if he does poke up that third ramp and see that there are gateways there. That could be an indicator that there's an early third. But there is also an Overlord making its way over that's going to make contact with the Nexus in about another 45 seconds or so. Zergling's going to be making their way up, and they're going to spot those gateways, though.
Yeah, you know, seeing this gates is it's pretty obvious what's going on. However, there is always the chance that Hasu is playing like super crazy mind game mode, and he's just put gateways there and a cannon to make Stephano think he's expanded. That's not what it is, but you know, you always have to keep that in mind. I have done that to people on Entombed, and they got really angry about it.
Stephano trying to poke in there with some speedlings, not quite able to make this happen. There's a lot of sentries there, and the Zealot doing a good job of blocking that base. And it's important to note right now that because the Robo is so delayed, Hasu has absolutely no clue what's going on Stephano's side of the map. He doesn't know how many bases he has. He doesn't know how much gas he's taking. He doesn't know if he's upgrading. He could be on Hive Tech for all that Hasu knows. So that first observer going to make its way in right now, and it's going to get the first glimpses of what's across the map.
Yeah, it's definitely information that Hasu needs right now. He does see all these lings out in front with his observer, and he sees that there aren't any more, so he's pretty sure it's not going to be an all-in. You know, some kind of weird Roach Ling, Bane Ling all-in or something crazy like that Stephano's probably cooked up. And he does now see the infestation pit, so he knows the tech. Huge deal. And, you know, Stephano's already got 6 gas, though, and he's had them for a little bit. They're saturated, so he's getting a shit ton of gas.
Yeah, with all that gas, he's easily able to go Roach Speed. He's going Pathogen Clans, double upgrades, and even getting a couple of Overseers right now, so that he's going to be able to try to scout his opponent's base. And he even poked up right there, and he should have been able to see that Twilight Council finishing up right there. So
yeah, let me just check. No, he didn't actually see it.
He saw a shimmer as it was finishing. So a little bit odd there. We do see the Overseer making its way into the base right now. Does see a ton of Stalkers. So this should be kind of a giveaway that there's probably some kind of a Blink Stalker push coming. Or at least a Blink Stalker transition. You wouldn't normally have this many Stalkers being warped in if you weren't going Blink Stalker. Is that correct?
Actually, no. You want lots of Stalkers. If you're going to go for a Colossus timing, you want to have pretty much no Zealots. You want to have your base of Sentries and to go with your Colossi, and then the rest is just Stalkers. Because with those force fields, you can keep the roaches away from your units, and the Stalkers just do so much damage if you get them time. And so having them with the Colossi, which he's going double Robo right now, will be so much damage. And here's a bunch of gateways. So yeah, he's going to go for some kind of attack off 3 base. I love that.
The more you know, right?
Indeed.
That is a ton of gateways being plopped down. Like you said, 6 additional gates that should bring his total all the way up to 10, if my math is not bad.
Yeah, 10. Good one.
And so these Zerglings, even with their 1-1 upgrades, 2-2 about halfway done, going to have a little bit of trouble dealing with double Colossi production right here. But Stephano already on that fully saturated 4-base economy here with all those gases up and even plopping down a ton of Spine Crawlers, might be able to buy enough time at this point to really get his defenses going. And that Hive Tech, once again, on the way. Spire already out, that 13-minute Spire, completing just like last game. So he's going to be able to produce Corruptors to deal with the Colossi once it does get shown, which there it is. 4 Colossi on the way. We'll immediately see 8 Corruptors in production. Stephano wants to be able to play that reactive army composition and have what he needs to deal with this army.
Yeah, and you know, Hasu here, like I said, he's going for that big 3-base attack. You can expand when you do this, but you might as well just not, because if this fails too much, you know, you might as well just have those units. It's actually pretty much all in. he might actually be taking him 4th right now. Yep, that's what he's going to do with it. I don't like this choice. You've shown so many Colossi, so you have this timing of, I have more Stalkers than you can handle with just your army to protect them from the Corruptors. By taking the 4th, you delay your attack, and you have less Stalkers for your attack, so it just makes it weaker, and you need to do damage.
All right. A second Spire coming out for Stephano, knowing that that Air Force is going to be an integral part of his army. Wants to be able to get double upgrades out. Greater Spire on the way, but still about 90 seconds out. Corruptor is going to be sharking around right now. Want to try to find those Colossi, but a nice blink up onto the high ground, and these Stalkers are able to put a lot of damage into these Corruptors, but there's simply not enough there. The Colossi are going to be falling. There's good force fields, but not good enough as infested Terrans are plopped down, and the entire ground army, other than that contingent of Blink Stalkers, is going to be wiped out here by those Speedlings.
Actually, when this happens and you kill all the Speedlings with your Colossi and you keep your Stalkers alive, Protoss has this timing where they can just produce so many Stalkers you can't deal with it. So we're going to have to see if House can do some damage with that. I definitely think he could. This is happening to me a lot because this map is pretty much you do 3-base attacks like this, so...
Yeah, the unfortunate part is that there's 15 Spine Crawlers back there, and that Stephano did retain his Infestors. He had a large Larva bank, so he was able to remax on about 70 Zerglings there, which were easily able to clean up some of those Stalkers. But with the Zealot Warpin, the +2 Zealots are going to be able to do pretty substantial amounts of damage to these Spine Crawlers and provide a sufficient barrier against these Speedlings. And this Gateway Army making their way into the 4th base. Stephano opting to retreat with his drones, wants to keep those safe, but a large swell of Zerglings is going to come in, and they're going to get surface area on top of these Stalkers. Infested Terrans going down everywhere, just going to shred this Gateway Army. These Blink Stalkers able to get themselves into good positions, minimizing the surface area, but it looks like there might be enough Zerg to hold this off for the time being.
Yeah, Haas was actually in an okay position here until this engagement. He tried to focus the hatchery, and he's doing that again. And the Lings just got into such a good position. If he'd been able to position his army properly and like had sentries or a Colossus, he could have won that engagement really well. But you know, going into the position he was in, which was not behind the minerals or anything, he was kind of out in the open, so lots of surface area for Lings, and then trying to focus the hatch. It's pretty much like giving away your army, which is not what you want to do at this point. We do see a good engagement here from Hasu. He does kill a bunch of Lings for pretty much free. But Broodlords are out, and they're really good versus composition.
Yeah, a few Infestors do go down there as well. So I'd say these players are a little bit in a wash right now. There are 5 bases up for Stephano, but no workers on that 5th base for the time being, and a lot of the workers were killed over here at the 4th. However, the composition is not there for Hasu. If Stephano were to move out here in about the next minute, I'd say that Hasu could be in a pretty rough situation. How is Hasu going to delay this push?
He's making War Prisms, which is a really good choice. He's gonna, try to harass and just keep the Broodlords and Lings and Infestors in Stephano's base. Sorry, and if he can, he wants to pick up either the Greater Spire, or the Hive, or the Infestation Pit. Those buildings, if you can kill them, that's huge. He's also getting shield upgrades right now. I don't know if his armor upgrades are done. I don't think they are. No,
they're not.
He's going shield first, so I guess he's going to go for Archons at this point. The Mothership is started, but no Templar Archive or Dark Shrine or anything for the Archons, so, that's pretty rough. He's going to have to do damage with these Warp Prisms.
Yeah, Speed Warp Prisms making their way to the 5th and the main right now. But Broodlords are already at the 4th base of Hasu, raining down terror onto this Protoss army. The Corruptors are doing a ton of damage. The first Colossus does, in fact, fall there. A little bit of miscontrol by these Infestors. Good Fungals going down, but loses a lot of Infestors. The Blinkstalker contingent is still there, but it doesn't look like there's simply enough to deal with the Roaches. A large amount of Infested Terrans are going to be pumped down, and Hasu retreating away from his 4th base right now. But Stephano, at the same time, taking a ton of damage from these drops in both his 5th and his main.
Yeah, it looks like he might even kill this hatch. No, the Zealots of the 5th stopped focusing the hatch. But what is going on? I think he just killed drones in the main? Is that all? I don't really see any buildings damaged.
I think that he didn't really kill anything.
Okay. Yeah, these drops, if they'd have been a little earlier, they could have saved him, maybe, if the army had decided to pull back and he'd had enough warpins, but at this point, I just don't think it's going to happen. He's not got the army to fight this. He doesn't have a Mothership out for recalls. He doesn't, have War Prisms anymore. Or, sorry, he's got one, but, he doesn't have enough money to really warp in enough units to do damage. This is just so rough for Hasu.
Yeah, Broodlords do manage to take out Hasu's 4th base right now. With that main already mined out, the natural going to be mined out here in about 3 more minutes. I think it's looking pretty rough for Hasu. That mothership could be the saving grace, but there's not enough energy for a Vortex at this point. And even if there was, the Templar Archive's just finally starting right now, so those Archons are still about 2 minutes out.
Yeah, and there's just no gas either. This is actually pretty good. He's killed the Overseer, and so now he's just killing over Broodlords with his Stalkers because there's no detection and the Broodlords can't fight back. This is really cool. He does pick up a bunch of Broodlords.
Yeah, it looks like he's picked up about 7 Broodlords right there. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a misstep, and those Stalkers do become uncloaked for a moment, which is not what you want to have happen because those Broodlords will shred the Stalkers. And beautiful micro actually coming out from Stephano right now, playing Ring Around the Rosie with these Broodlords, but with that Zergling reinforcement coming in, the Corruptors as well, that mothership is going to be falling, and Hasu going to be dipping to just 115 supply when that mothership is going to be falling down to 112 right now, and those Speedlings going to be making contact with the Stalkers. 3-3 Cracklings just shred through those Stalkers.
Yeah, for real, I don't really know what else to say. That was really nice by CCHasuObs killing all those Broodlords, but he wasn't able to save his mothership, which almost had enough energy for a Vortex. If he'd saved that mothership for the Vortex, gotten some Archons, maybe he could get like the sickest Archon toilet ever off. But that's not going to happen anymore as the mothership is dead. GG.
Yeah, and like you said, GG is going to be coming out here. And Hasu drops 2-0 to Stephano. Oh, Stephano, he's a really good player.
A little bit.
He's a really good player. Zerg is pretty good race. And, yeah, that was a pretty good game, though. Hasu definitely not falling quite as easily as he did there in the first game. And I think with just a couple of fixed-up encounters, that could have been a very different game if he had not overextended there when attacking into Stephano's 4th base. Like you said, if he hadn't tried to bum rush the hatchery, if he had gotten into a better position, this could have been a different game.
Yeah, and actually, even more importantly, when they fought over in the base, by the base, in between their 2 mains, if Hasu had proper positioning there, as in not fighting right there because it's an awful place for Protoss to fight, and he did some more force fields, like right away, he'd be concentrating on that a little more, he could have taken this game because there were no Broodlords at that point. You can still segment Zerg's army and keep them away from your army if you're in proper positioning and if you go to the force fields. But that didn't happen.
Definitely. All right. Well, we are going to move on to a new series. We'll figure out which one here in a moment. I've been your casting host, Beef. Check out these VODs over at my channel, youtube.com/BeefPotPie1. Brandon, where can they find you?
As well on YouTube, youtube.com/MuataranTV. It's MuATARAN. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Muataran, same spelling.
All right, guys. We're going to go find another series to cast. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.